HANDGUN people! Well, the theme for today's video is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That used to be a saying, and this video proves it true.
Officer Chesna was moved from the medical examiner's office in Boston to a funeral home in Weymouth. Hundreds of fellow officers lined the streets along the route in a show of solidarity and respect.
All these officers, just a little side note, on the clock, getting paid, taxpayer dollars, taxpayer money, vehicles, gas, wear and tear on the cars, not on the streets. A lot of these people, given time off, they're supposed to be working, they're like, you want to go to the funeral, go ahead. So these are all taxpayer dollars to put on a show of the blue line so we can have our own flag. Because you must respect us. Because we're so tight. Because we so much police ourselves and we're so professional that we need to show all you pesky citizens while you're paying us that we care about this officer. Always bug me about funerals.
In a show of solidarity and respect.
Now, the man accused of killing Officer Chesna and the elderly woman is Emmanuel Lopes. He's hospitalized with a gunshot wound and could be arraigned tomorrow.
Poor Emmanuel Lopes. Poor guy. He's hospitalized because the mean cop shot him in the leg. Rick, was he aiming for the leg? No. He was probably aiming for center mass, and he missed the leg. I keep going over this. People keep asking. I guess I got to say it every time. Let me say this one time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Because I usually don't say that, but everybody keeps saying, you got to tell people, remind them. All right, go down there and like and subscribe. All right, listen. So, hell, now I forgot what I was damn talking about. Shit, stupid like and describe shit. What the hell was I saying? Let me go back, see if it'll remind me.
Gunshot wound and could be arraigned tomorrow on murder charges.
Oh, where he shot him in the leg. So, people are always saying, why do they always try to kill him? We don't say we try to kill him, although that's the logical conclusion because we're shooting for center mass, and usually center mass is the center of the chest. And what's close to the center of the chest? Your heart and lungs. So a lot of times, if cops hit, which they don't, remember cops miss 85, some huge 87% of the time, they miss. And they only hit like 12 or 13% of the time. Rick, why do they fire so many rounds? Because they miss more than they hit. Because they're shooting in the heat of the moment. Because cops have to react to the suspect's actions. They're behind a power curve. They're drawing. They're usually in a panic. By the time they're shooting, unless, you got these pussy cops now out here shooting freaking little dogs that are 20 feet away. They draw their gun, aim, say, you better get your dog or I'll bang, bang, bang. Now, those punk-ass cops aren't shooting in a panic. But in most real shootings where deadly force is really justified, cops are usually behind a power curve. So you don't want to aim for the pinky toe, the leg, or the finger because we don't even hit 13% of the time when we're aiming for the largest area, which is usually the chest. Technically we shoot for the largest mass available. If you stick your head out from behind a door, I'm shooting for the center of your head. If you stick your whole body out, I'm shooting for the center of the chest. If you stick your leg out, I'm probably going to shoot for the thigh because that's the biggest area. We shoot for the biggest target, so in case we miss, our odds of hitting is better because our stats and percentage of hitting stinking sucks because we're not on the range, we're not calm, we're not predicting, we don't have a chance to get our grip, hold our breath, slowly squeeze the trigger, concentrate on the front sight. None of that shit happens in a real justified shooting. So that's why we don't shoot for legs. But this guy got shot in the leg only because the cop missed, not because he was aiming there. But I digress. Let's get back to this fine, outstanding citizen, which I'm sure hates Trump and promotes Black Lives Matter.
Court documents show his mother had a restraining order against him.
Okay, we call that a clue when your own mother, because everybody knows mothers be like, shit, you can rob me, steal me, beat me up, you're my son, I love you, and you were a good kid, and you were just about to go to doctor school, and you were a great guy when you get killed. So this mother had a restraining order. That really limits her ability, if this guy was to be killed by the cops, to sue. So for you mothers who are looking for the big payout when your kid goes out and commits crime and gets killed by the cops, if you get a restraining order, that's not going to help your case. Okay? She can't say, my son was a great father and he stayed at home and he was going to doctor school and I loved him and he used to cook me dinner and he would take care of me and now that he's gone, it's just such a loss. You need to pay me a lot of money. Can't say that now. She had a restraining order on him.
And that the 20-year-old suffered from severe mental illness. Louisa Moeller joins us with new information now on the investigation. Louisa?
Well, Lisa, the district attorney said tonight that Lopes intentionally shot and killed 77-year-old Vera Adams, who was innocently sitting in her own home. Court documents say...
So this guy's killed. This officer's killed. Okay? Why was he killed, Rick? Well, we're going to find out.
He's also no stranger to police. Court documents shed light.
We have the female standing around. They always come afterwards after the tape's up to look busy and... Rick, you can't say that, maybe. All right, whatever.
On the events leading up to the tragic deaths of Officer Michael Chesna and bystander Vera Adams. Michael Chesna and bystander Vera Adams. They state that Emmanuel Lopes was speeding in his girlfriend's white BMW when he...
Okay, so we call this a clue. His mom's got a restraining order, which means he's probably living with mom. Now he's got a girlfriend who gives him her BMW. Wow. I want to see who drives his car because she sounds like a winner. She's not like a keeper.
He crashed into an SUV. He's quoted saying, "I'm sorry," and fled the scene on foot.
I'm sorry. Crashed her car, left it to get towed, screwed her girlfriend over, already screwed his mom over. But Ricky said he was sorry. Why are you picking on him? It's someone else's fault. It's not his. Okay.
The documents say Officer Chesna then spotted him throwing a rock through a window at a nearby home.
Okay. So he's throwing a rock through a window. Who thinks he's a deadly threat? Raise your hand if you think you can shoot him because he threw a rock through a window. Yeah, you're a dummy. I mean, if there was somebody in there and you saw him throwing multiple rocks or he was close, I mean, it's very hard to justify deadly force because somebody throws a rock. However, after this video, you will all be able to cite a case to where it will be justified.
They continue. At a distance of 10 to 12 feet, Lopes threw the rock at Officer Chesna in the head, causing him to fall to the ground and drop his duty firearm.
He got hit with a rock from 12 feet away because he didn't shoot him. All these people like, Rick, all he had was a knife, all he had was a rock, all he had was a club, all he had was a stick, and the cop shot him for no reason. Well, when you have throwing instruments that you could do harm, and you've already demonstrated that you do harm. Now, this cop, does he know why he threw the rock? Does he know his history? Does he know that he's been arrested for violence? Does he know he has mental illness? I don't know. If and buts, coconuts. We don't know all that. Totality of circumstances. But still, had the cop shot this guy when he raised the rock to throw at him, this cop would have been crucified because his last name, what was it? Lopez or whatever? He would have been crucified as being a racist because he's white. And they would have charged him. So he didn't shoot when a guy raised his arm with a rock. Guess what? He got hit in the head.
Lopes picked up the firearm, stood over Officer Chesna, and fired.
Rick, cops are always just saying, you know, if he pulls a taser and he shoots you with a taser, he's going to take your gun and shoot you, and that never happens. Well, you're an idiot. And it did happen. And he didn't use a taser. He used a freaking rock. And he knocked the officer down, took his firearm, and executed him. Rick, you're just taking the cop side because you... Shut up, you freaking idiots. Pay attention. Every case is different. This cop was responding. Some people will say he should have shot him when he lifted his arm to throw a rock. There are a lot of cops that would absolutely shoot him. There are cops that would not. I would not. I've had guys pick up police officer baton, fight with us, and a cop loses baton. I drew my gun. I aimed it at the guy. I told him if he didn't drop it, I would shoot him. And he dropped it. So, now, could I have shot him? Absolutely. As soon as he had the baton in his hand, I tell people, there was 100 times, if not more, that I would have been lawfully justified and legally. Everyone wants to get in, well, which was lawful and legal, the Constitution? Look, don't get into this if and buts, tomato bullshit, okay? Either you get charged or you don't. That's what lawful and legal means. Either you can get charged and the government can send your ass to prison, or you can't. It's a justified shoot if somebody picks up your baton. Period. I mean, there was one crazy cop story. I don't know if I told her where I actually threw a guy and said, you want my baton? I said, you want to play? I said, I'll throw you my baton. You want it? And when you catch it, I'm going to shoot your ass. And I threw it at him, and he dropped it right at his feet. It just laid there. And I was like, see? You want to talk all your shit, but you don't want to catch the baton because you know what's going to happen. Rick, you can't say that. If that was on video, you were a bootleg. I don't even remember the circumstance when it happened, but it was some sort of little riot shit before Black Lives Matter's around. It was some other thing that the certain group was complaining about. But anyway, I digress. Guy got hit in the head with a rock, had his gun taken, and died. So for all the idiots that are always commenting, Rick, that Rashad took his taser and he shouldn't have shot him. It was just a taser and it's non-lethal. The reason why tasers are lethal in non-police hands is police have rules and training on how to use a taser safely. If I shoot you in the eye with a taser, I will blind you. That is mayhem. That is a felony. That causes serious bodily injury and or death. Therefore, a taser in an untrained hand and somebody that does not have the training and does not have any restrictions or policy or is not being paid and restricted by an agency to use it, guess what? It's a dangerous weapon. Cops have batons. I can't hit you with my baton in the neck, groin, spine, head, temple area. Those are non-strike targets. I know that. If I hit you with those, I can be charged with a crime. However, I can hit you in other places and use it legally. When a suspect takes my baton, he is not trained, he is not restricted by policy, he can hit me anywhere and cause serious injury and death. Therefore, it is a deadly weapon, and therefore I can shoot him lawfully and legally. You can argue about it left and right. I can shoot him and I get off and I don't go to jail, okay? Nowadays, you can shoot them for freaking picking their nose, thinking they were going to hit you in the eye with a booger and say, oh, it was some fear of my life. I thought he was going to throw that booger in my eye and he could have killed me. All right, whatever. Here we go.
Hitting him in the head, torso, and legs.
That's a pretty big-ass rock, okay?
Officer Chesna and fired, hitting.
If that's the rock he threw, that's a big-ass rock. I'm kind of surprised the cop couldn't dodge that. When you see, here's a little physics lesson for you people who were educated in a liberal system and think the world is freaking flat and there's no moon. Okay, when you throw a big-ass rock, you can't throw it as fast as you can a little rock. We have speed, velocity, mass, all those things with bullets if you were a gun person. But a big-ass rock like that is going slower because you can't throw it as fast. I'm surprised he couldn't dodge that. I mean, we used to have rock fights as kids and we'd throw rocks at each other. I got hit in the face with a brick. Had to get stitches. So, I mean, we used to throw shit. We used to shoot each other with our Roman candles. But, I mean, that was just fun and we had fun and you could get hurt. That was before all the safety sallies. You know, you got to wear a freaking helmet and freaking goggles to use a round plastic spoon now so you don't poke yourself in the eye and kill yourself. And then there's a warning symbol on the freaking spoon saying this can be dangerous if you stick it in your ear. I mean, nowadays you got freaking, you know, some liberal is going to say, we need no rock zones, we need no rock signs, all rocks need to have printed on it. Throwing this object could cause injury if you hit somebody in the head. That'll be the liberals' fix to this. It won't be to hold the freaking criminal accountable.
Hitting him in the head, torso, and legs. And during the chase with police that ensued, the Norfolk...
Okay, notice how they showed a woman running? She wasn't chasing no damn body. She was going to the bathroom
torso,
and they had
and
to show
legs.
it like, oh,
and during the chase with
oh
police...
my God, during the chase, look at her. Wow, Johnny on the spot. That's the farthest she ran since she went to the refrigerator this morning. Does she look like she runs a lot? Come on, people.
Police that ensued, the Norfolk County District Attorney says Lopes spotted 77-year-old Adams through the sliding door of her house and shot her.
So he killed the cop, got a gun, and then killed the unarmed citizen. But Rick, we were told if we gave up guns, we'd be safer. Well, that's because you're an idiot. Because anybody knows, any crook knows that if I want a gun, I got to take one from a cop. And they're easy to take one from. I can set them up. I can get them to chase me down an alley. I can walk up like I'm asking them directions. I can walk up to the car with a box of donuts and they'll roll down the window and greet me with open arms. And then I can bash them in the head with a rock and take their gun. So it's very easy to get a gun. So all these idiot liberals that are telling you give up your guns because once we take your guns from the good people, then we'll take them from the bad people. You're a freaking idiot. Don't give up your freaking guns, dummies. All right, here we go.
Lopes, you ready to go?
The I-team has learned that Lopes was on pre-trial probation. He's accused of selling cocaine to a minor last...
Oh, he was selling cocaine for money. He's a good guy. His mom's got a restraining order. He threw a rock at a lady, shot the cop after he hit him in the head with a rock, shot another lady. But he was on pretrial probation. We'll let him out of jail because, we have to decrease the minority population in the jail because it looks like it's a trend and it might be called racist and it doesn't support the Black Lives Matter and minorities need special protections now. So it doesn't promote any of that. So we need to let him out of jail while he's selling cocaine to freaking children. Aren't we told that schools and children's and no drug zones and all these extra laws were going to stop all this? Yeah, okay, whatever. Freaking ridiculous. He's out of jail. And the cops know him. He's fought one. They're only saying a couple things he was charged with. I guarantee you this guy's got a rap sheet longer than my arm. Rap sheet means record and prosecution or something. Record of arrest and prosecutions, I think. Rap.
Last year and resisting arrest. In that case, officers wrote, he is 6'3", and we have fought with him before.
Oh, they fought with him before. Well, Rick, that's because the cops were just out there beating him up because they didn't like him because his last name was Lopes. Okay.
He was released in order to stay away from alcohol and drugs, and his bail was not revoked even after he missed a drug test.
So he's out for committing crimes. He's told that he can't use drugs. He uses drugs, and they don't put him back in jail. Now he throws a rock and kills a cop and kills another innocent person with the cop's gun. And luckily, cop had a large capacity magazine, so he could have killed a lot of people. But unfortunately, he got shot before he could empty his 13 or 20 round mag that police have, but they tell you pesky citizens you don't need.
Tested positive for marijuana.
He has no vision for us humans.
Lopes posted this video tirade about President Trump on his...
Oh, another Trump hater. Trump derangement. I wonder if this guy voted for Hillary. I bet you he's a Biden supporter. Rick, he's smart, and he knows that Biden will fix the country, and it's Trump's fault that his mom put a restraining order on him. It's Trump. Okay.
His Facebook page one day before the murders. His own mother took out a restraining order against him last year, citing severe mental health issues.
Prosecutors are unable to arraign Lopes yet since he's still recovering from gunshots in his leg fired by one of Chesna's fellow officers. Liam.
Okay, so now we know that rocks are dangerous. If somebody throws a rock at you, and somebody says, well, a rock really isn't a deadly weapon, Rick. Well, yeah, it kind of is. It can knock you out. It can do serious bodily injury. And that's why I tell people who carry a gun, when you carry a gun, your biggest fear needs to be protecting that gun and hanging on to it. Because if somebody gets it away from you, the odds of them shooting you is freaking high. Okay? As high as the moon. That really ain't there because the Earth's flat. But I'm telling you, it's freaking high if somebody gets your gun. So you better be willing to do what it takes to hang on to it. All right? Well, then that there.